Hey dolls, welcome back to your Royal BFF, the People's Duchess. How's it going? Hope you guys had a wonderful weekend. I know I did. I know Meghan is having a stellar weekend. The children's princess came through in Geneva, Switzerland to give the most impassioned speech. And we're going to go over that speech in just a minute here, but I want to start with this really cute get ready with me to be iconic in Switzerland little behind the scenes that Meghan put out on her Instagram starring her gorgeous daughter, Princess Lilibet. I love this so much because she ended up wearing that dress that Lilibet picked out to the Who. I love it. And you know what? Speaking of the dress that she wore to the Who, not that that was the main focus at all. I didn't even notice the dress. What I thought when I first saw these pictures was, is this a throwback to Argentina? Are we looking at some of those long lost, rare photos from her Argentinian US Embassy days? Like, when we say that Meghan isn't new to this, she's true to this, I literally mistook this picture for 20 years ago. That was crazy. But yeah, I wanted to start here because behind the impassioned speech, behind the somber occasion, behind the beautiful attire is this, the work. This is the actual work. What we're looking at in these images is Meghan sitting down with policymakers, people that can move the needle forward. And this is the main differentiation between her and Harry and the rest of the royals. They actually do the things that they say that they're going to do. They believe in these things. They're not just talking. Meghan walks that walk. She has the chops, she has the acumen, she has the pedigree, she has the background. She is a force for change. She is a powerhouse, and that is undeniable. And I think that it can't really be overlooked that her royal counterparts are failing miserably in this area because even the blind, even the most staunch royalist can see that the royals do not care. And this isn't a point of comparison or anything, but because there are simultaneous child advocacy things going on overseas in the royal households, it's worth discussing. I think that it's worth discussing the fact that we have one early years project 12, 13 years on where nobody can tell you the core tenets. All we can garner from that early years project is that the early years are important. We know nothing other than that. We don't have any data points. We don't have any long-term outcomes. We don't have any studies that were published. We have nothing from Kensington Palace that tells us in depth or in detail about anything regarding this program. Other than it seems to be housed in a closet in KP, I don't know anything else about it. No one knows anything else about it. That's why Amanda Platel was out here asking Kate, what the hell, the other day? Like, what even is this? Because no one knows anything. And I'm sorry, but Bob the Builder references are not really conveying the message of your early childhood research like you maybe thought that it might. I mean, that was weird. That was really weird. What we want is a Q&A session. Sit down, have a fireside chat, tell us the things. At this point, it's just not even worth the smoke or the mirrors. You know, just come clean. Just step into your villain era. Why pretend like you care about something that you don't? You have the backing of the monarchy. You have the backing of all the millions of racists that still exists. No one's going to take away your crown jewels. So why not just step into that full villain that you want to be and drop this whole like, oh, we're protecting kids and we're protecting mental health. No, you're not. You're like the most harmful people in the world. You are not protecting anything other than yourselves. Just living your truth, dude. To thine own self be true. Anyways, so Meghan was being herself, doing her thing in Geneva. She got up there, gave a really compassionate, empathetic, moving speech about the harms of social media, unregulated social media and platforms, and protecting children online. So I want to play the clip of my favorite parts and then we'll get into it.
This is not simply a technology issue. It is a public health issue, and a human one. Each name belonged to a child who was loved beyond measure, whose future once felt limitless. And now their faces ask the world questions we can no longer avoid. How many more millions of children will be harmed by products that, while innovative, are still designed without sufficient safeguards? And when will children be able to enjoy the extraordinary potential of technology without it compromising their well-being.
So, as y'all know, I've been rereading Spare, and this part of the speech reminded me of that time that he told Meghan something cruel. And when he went back to talk to her, she said that not only would she not accept that, but she wouldn't accept a father of her children saying those kinds of cruel things. So, imagine having a mom like Meghan who was advocating for you and fighting for you before you were even born, before the concept of you was even conceived. And it's really nice that Meghan is using her platform to try to protect all kids in that way. I'm excited to see what the lawmakers do. I'm excited to see the Archwell Impact Report. I'm excited to see the outcomes. The speech itself is 10 and a half minutes long, and I'll actually repost it at the tail end of this video in its entirety. It's such a great speech. I want to talk about the nonverbal communication. Meghan does power dressing so well. She does dressing for an occasion so well. I think it's because she understands the psychology of people, and she gets that even though you should be taken seriously no matter what you look like, people will still judge you based on what you look like. That's just kind of a human tendency that we all have, to look you up and down and say, how much weight should I give this person's words? Should I take this person seriously? Do they look like they know what they're talking about? Meghan is an expert on soft skills, diplomacy, nonverbal communication, and it really came across in this speech. In fact, I felt like this is probably the urgency and the bass that she had in her voice when she told Harry to go back to therapy, or when she told William to kindly get his finger the F out of her face. Highly effective is my point. She has a command and a presence that makes you perk up and pay attention. And she's very huggable. This is an underrated soft skill that I think a lot of royals are starting to pay attention to and mimic now, because they see the value and the power in human touch. Now we're seeing a lot of hugging going on, but just a few years ago, we were all aghast at how cold and cruel it was when Camilla refused to take the hand of Brigitte Macron, First Lady Macron, at that memorial site, because that is not an appropriate response to someone grieving and reaching out to you. We also saw the about face on the hugging protocol after Spare came out, and it looked really bad how rigid they were to their potential new sister-in-law. The first time meeting her, just so stiff and rigid at the hug. Why would you be stiff and rigid at a hug? Come on now. So I think that they know that that's inhumane of them, that that's not how normal human beings interact with other people. And now the policy is hug as much as possible. Whereas Meghan, you don't have to teach that to her. It's authentically her, and it helps. That, combined with the command of the room that she has, culminates in her being such an important and powerful figure, especially as it pertains to moving the needle forward with humanitarian crises and things that need to change, like racism and sexism and xenophobia and all of those things that impacted her in her time in the UK. I mean, this isn't even about her at all. This whole thing is about parents that have lost their children to social media, bullying, and harm. So even though she's been impacted by all those things, she's still working to change that outcome for other people who don't have the resources that she has, who don't necessarily have the mental fortitude and the self-esteem and the self-worth that she has, or a partner who is as supportive as Prince Harry is. This is for them. So kudos, Duchess. I could not give higher praise for this event or this speech. It is so important. Please do check out Archwell Philanthropy's website to learn more about the Parents Network, how you can help and get involved. So without further ado, here is the entirety of Duchess Meghan's speech in Geneva, Switzerland over the weekend. Thank you so much for watching, guys. Have a wonderful rest of your day. Like, share, subscribe, join the membership, buy the coffees, do all the things. Take care of yourselves, be kind to yourselves, and until next time, bye for now.
Thank you for being here this evening, and thank you, Dr. Tedros, not simply for your leadership at the World Health Organization, but for your clarity in recognizing that this is not simply a technology issue. It is a public health issue, and a human one. Behind us stands the Lost Screen Memorial. Not statistics, not avatars, not data points. Children. Each name belonged to a child who was loved beyond measure. A child whose laughter once filled a kitchen, whose shoes once waited by a front door, whose future once felt limitless. And now their faces ask the world questions we can no longer avoid. How many more millions of children will be harmed by products that, while innovative, are still designed without sufficient safeguards? And when will children be able to enjoy the extraordinary potential of technology without it compromising their well-being? For too long, we've accepted a dangerous bargain that modern connection must come at the cost of the innocence of childhood, that innovation excuses injury, and that speed matters more than safety. But we would never accept this logic anywhere else. We did not tell parents to create their own seatbelts. We did not ask children to test unsafe medicine. We did not shrug at poisoned water or defective toys and call it the price of progress. We acted, and now the world must act again. Because children today are being shaped by systems designed to capture attention at absolutely any cost. Relentless algorithms, exploitative engagement, and endless exposure to harmful content that they are not seeking out. When a joyful and athletic young girl goes online looking for healthy recipes and instead is fed body dysmorphia content and pro-anorexia videos, leading her to be hospitalized for months with a severe eating disorder, her family sees their vibrant daughter suddenly sick from the social media she logged into. That is Katie. When a kind, warm, handsome teenage boy is overcome by a breakup with his girlfriend and goes onto social media looking for quotes of affirmation to help him get through it, the platforms preyed upon his pain. And instead of just offering him the words of encouragement he was searching for, they offered him ideas of how he should take his life. And he did. That is Mason. And when a beautiful young girl has a pizza and movie night with her parents, there in the living room, and before she heads to bed, she asks her mom for a cord to charge her phone. And in the early hours of the morning, her mother finds that her daughter has hanged herself. Overwhelmed by the online bullying she had been subjected to, silently suffering while keeping a brave face for those who loved her most, at 14 years old, that young girl followed the detailed instructions of a video that was pushed to her feed, showing her exactly how to take her life. And she did. That is Anglin. As her father, Tony, shared with us a few years ago, if love could have saved our children, they would all still be here. Because these children were deeply loved in the same way that you and we love our own children. These stories are not isolated, they are consistent, and they are not the fault of the child nor the parent. Across lived experience, court cases, authoritative medical and media journals, and testimony from families, a clear and urgent picture is emerging. At the same time, advancing technologies such as AI are not just repeating past mistakes, they are accelerating and amplifying them. The risks are compounding. We are seeing new forms of harms emerge faster than our systems and ourselves are prepared to respond, affecting children at alarming scale and across borders. But these outcomes are not inevitable. And prevention begins with one simple principle. Children must be safe by design, not safe by chance. Because danger now travels globally, instantly, invisibly, and intimately. And our protections must do the same. And as technology advances at extraordinary speed, We cannot simply stand by waiting for the damage to catch up with us. This is why brave parents, such as Amy Neville, here with us today, are turning unimaginable grief into action. Amy lost her 14-year-old son, Alexander, a child targeted through a platform engineered for engagement, not for protection. And she'll be sharing her story with you shortly. Today, she is here not only as a mother, but as an advocate and an activist, working to ensure that no other family has to experience the same loss. Her voice and the voices of so many others remind us of what is at stake. Children are no longer just participants in digital spaces. They are too often the product. Because when they tick the box and they sign the terms and conditions, they don't realize that they may actually be signing away their life. Because the small print didn't spell out that it was going to prey upon their vulnerabilities and drive them to content they weren't looking for to keep them engaged for as long as possible. They didn't know that the platforms valued profit over people. And yet when we've seen this in other sectors, we did not accept it. We would never accept a food system that knowingly exposed children to harm. We should not accept a digital one either. This moment demands more than concern. It demands courage. The courage to regulate where regulation is needed, the courage to demand transparency where secrecy has enabled harm, and the courage to say clearly and collectively, our children are not products. They are not experiments, and they are not expendable. The decisions made in places such as the World Health Assembly transcend far beyond these next few days. They ripple outward into schools, into homes, into hospitals, and into childhoods across the globe. So we must ask ourselves, will we look back at this moment as one where through collective action, the design of technology shifted towards safety, dignity, and well-being? Or will we accept more names being added to memorials like this? Because if an adult is barely able to survive the bullying and predation of the online world and the dangers that these platforms bring, how is a child? Let this not only be a moment to reflect, as Dr. Tedros said, let it be a mandate for action. So speak up. Demand better from the platforms shaping our children's lives. Be an example in your own social media use of how to be intentional in every moment that you like, that you comment, that you post, that you share. Hold your community to the same standard. Support laws and leaders committed to child safety by design, transparency, and accountability online. Write to your elected officials. Ask what they are doing to protect children in digital spaces. And join the parents, campaigners, health experts, and young people around the world calling for global standards that put child well-being before algorithmic profit. Because when enough voices refuse to accept harm as the cost of connection, change becomes inevitable. One day, generations from now, children will look back at this era with absolute disbelief that adults once allowed digital spaces to exist without basic protections for young people. But let's do something now so that they will also look back and see that during this increasingly polarized time, where people can barely agree on basic facts, that beyond politics or party lines, beyond demographics, incomes, or ideologies, beyond race or religion, we could all universally agree on one thing. We want our children to be safe. Let our children look back at this moment and let them feel proud of us, that we chose something better for them and for us all. Thank you.